Hey guys and girls, my name's Dan. Welcome back to The Forge. In this episode of Trust Me, I'm a Blacksmith. Let's say goodbye to this hammer. So, I've got a lot of questions about why I use this hammer in some of my videos and not one of my own made hammers. And the answer is quite simple. These hammers are great. I love these hammers. There's nothing wrong with these hammers, except from to do finishing work. These have slightly rounded ends on, and I prefer to use a straight a hammer that comes out straight and runs flush and is round. I forge with both types of hammers, so I do a lot of my bulk moving with this sort of hammer. That and a sort of like a rounding type hammer. So these hammers are great. I love these. I use a £3 one myself, but I want a £2. I want a £2 hammer that has a ball peen-esque style rounding face, and then this sort of, so almost like a Stanley pattern. This is called a Stanley pattern hammer, and basically today I'm going to swap this hammer. Oh, where did it go? I'm going to swap this hammer for this hammer, and I'm going to show you how to put a handle on. I've been wanting to do a handling video for a while. It's freezing here in the UK at the minute. It's about -6 here in my workshop with a wind chill of about -12, which is great. And it's only going to get worse. So I had to cancel Alex. Alex was supposed to come up today. We were going to make the giant bottle opener. That ain't happening. He can't get out of Hereford. So basically, there's lots of problems transport-wise. So I'm going to do this video, show you how to put hammer handles in. How I do them anyway, whether or not I do it properly. I used to use Sapele handles. I'm not using them anymore. There's two reasons for that. The first reason is I've had some of them break, and they've broken in weird places on the hammers, and it's because of the odd grain structure that Sapele has, which has a bad acoustic quality, which means less vibrations in the handle, protects your hand. I'm moving away from that because I don't want hammer handles going out to customers and breaking. Basically, that's the answer. So I'm moving over to hickory handles. I make these handles out of raw stock. I take a square piece of material, machine it down to round, and then start carving it using a spoke shave and grinders and stuff like that to get it to fit on the hammers. That's great. There's nothing wrong with doing that, except from it takes ages. It takes me absolutely ages. And I'm not a wood butcher. I am not a carpenter in any way, shape or form. I am a blacksmith. And I make the best handles I can make to my abilities. So I'm buying store-bought hickory handles and then modifying them to look like these. I can probably get this dusty again. I just straighten out the handle, make sure that the heads fit nice and they're all good and tidy, and then I put a nice finish on them. I'm finishing with linseed oil, broad linseed oil, and then beeswax. So basically that's what I do for fitting handles. I'm going to show you how to do that now. Hopefully you enjoy it. I'm sitting down for too long because I'm absolutely freezing now. So I'm going to get on and show you how to fit this hammer handle. Okay, so what I used to do is I used to line the hammer eye up with the hammer handle like so, and then I used to get a pencil inside the thing, draw around this end and be like, oh, that's where I need to machine off, and that's how I'd start. That takes time. and one thing I am losing more and more, the more I do the channel, the more I make stuff, is I lose time to do things in that sort of way. So I have to find quicker ways of doing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take an angle grinder with a flat wheel on. I'm just going to grind the chamfer onto there, and then I'm going to show you what I do first. So what I've done is just taken an angle grinder with quite an aggressive 40 grit flat pad on it, and now it will sit inside the hammer eye. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get this piece of wood here on the anvil. I'm going to take a hammer and I'm just going to hammer this in to start marking up. I don't actually know what this piece is called. I think technically this is called the pole here, the pole of the hammer. We call it an eye as well. But yes. Anyway, the handle, the end of the handle that goes in the hammer, I'm going to hit that in to mark up the neck, and I'll show you that after I've done it. So I'm going to put the hammer, which I consider the top side of the hammer, and that's the side with my maker's mark on. I didn't do this one very well, because this was the first one. And then I'm just going to I'm going to line this up in the centre, and I'm going to give it a smack with a hammer, and then another, I'm basically going to drive that in. Now the hickory, this hickory will take quite a lot of abuse before it starts giving you problems. Just drive that in there like that, and I'm going to try and get this in. Till it goes flush with the cheeks on the opposite side of the hammer. Okay, like so. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to knock that back out again. This is a very aggressive way of doing this. There are other ways of marking this up that are a little bit more elegant, but I find this quite quick. So I'm going to put this in the leg vise and I'm going to knock this out. Hopefully you can see that that's marked the cheeks, the sides of this up with the cheeks of the hammer. Now, I'm going to take those off with a draw knife, but we haven't started touching down here yet, which means we've got a long way to go before this hammer's seated properly. When I use a draw knife, all I'm going to do is I'm going to start slightly further back, and I'm going to pull the draw knife over until it chops off this little lump. And as soon as we get rid of that lump, things are going to start going really well. So okay, welcome over to the leg vise. Basically, this is a draw knife. Sorry, not a draw knife. This is a spoke shave. I've just called it a draw knife. You can use a draw knife or a spoke shave. This is a spoke shave. I find these work really well. And like I said before, I'm just going to go slightly further back behind this lump here, and I'm just going to pull the spoke shave towards me. And I'm looking to take material off behind this part. I know this material fits and it's tight, but this bit doesn't. So I want to take this material off, not up here. And just gently coming across now and taking off that little lump. And nothing more, that's all I want to take off. Turn this round. Sorry, I'll get my arm in the way there. Turn this round. Okay, you're still in shot there. Yep, turn this around, same thing again. I'm going to start back here about an inch, and I'm just going to draw this forwards. So this cuts on this stroke, this forward stroke, and all I'm doing is looking to take material off till I get that lump down. So using the draw knife does two things. It gives us a decline back here from the neck of the handle, and it just takes off material here. We don't want to remove material here, just here. I've said that about 4 times now, I think, but that's all we want. The next thing we need to do is get a pen, and we're going to refit this handle on and see how better we sit now. Hopefully it's going to start showing us up on the sides of this part that fits inside the pole. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pen, and then I'm going to decide on a whim now which side I want to be the hammer face. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to mark it with a little line. I don't know if you can see that. I mark it with a little line, and then I'm going to write F. And that denotes that the face is on this side. So that means hammer face this side, and then I know that this is the top, so I'm always going to put the hammer handle in the eye this way, like so. Now that's very tight. And I'm going to get this started on here, and then I'm going to show you how, for the most part, I'm just going to use inertia to get this done now. Right, so I'm just going to get this started. Okay, now the hammer is in. So the hammer handle's in the eye. I'm going to hold the hammer in my hand like so, and I'm going to take another hammer. I would normally use a soft hammer, but these handles are so long, it doesn't matter what happens to this, I'm chopping it off anyway. I start hammering the back of the handle. And what you're looking to do is do this until, okay, I think I'm going to have to take some material off. What you're looking to do is do this until the hammer eye is completely filled with the wood from the handle. And as you can see, quite a bit more material has come through on this turn. Okay, so we're going to get this hammer off here now, and we're going to start using the spoke shave to take these little bits off under here. Okay, because I'm taking this handle down after I've finished fitting it, I don't need to worry about damaging the handle, so I can grab it in this vise fine. If you're doing this at home and you don't want to modify the handles, or in your workshop you don't want to modify the handles in any way, put soft jaws in them, because you're just going to wreck them. I'll show you what that damage that's done by those in a minute. So again, spoke shave. I'm just going to take material off, but this time I'm going to come over on the sides ever so slightly, because I'm starting to see where the hammer faces, the hammer eye is sitting all the way round now. Now, this takes a bit of practice to get right quite quickly. I'm not very good at it. I probably spend too long doing this, which isn't good. Now I've got a problem here. The grain is causing me a bit of bother here, so I'm going to have to use the spoke shave the opposite way round. But again, all I'm trying to do is remove material from those marks. I don't want to remove material up here that we've already got in, because it's a nice tight fit. But what I am going to do here is we've got a few little marks there from where it got hammered in. I think it would be nice just to get rid of a little bit of that material, help it go in a bit easier next time. But I'm just taking off a tiny little sliver. Okay, like so. Oh, too much there. Tiny, 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 tiny little slivers. Just get that. Okay, and don't do what I've just done and do that, because you just get splinters in your fingers, and I'm probably going to end up doing that now. It hasn't happened all morning. It's probably going to end up happening now. Okay, and same on this side, so I'm probably going to speed this bit up. Give myself about ½ an inch. Oh. Lovely. And then open this vise up a little bit, and just grab a hammer and free that off. And then just grab a wooden drift. And knock that out. Okay, I like to leave a little bit of a mark where the cheeks are going to sit. When this gets soaked in oil, I'm going to soak this in oil. That drives in even deeper than it does now, and it fits really, really good. But I'll cover that in a second. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sand these a little bit just to tidy up some of these marks, clean this end up, and then I'm going to cut a little slit in there, and then I'm going to start working on the handle. So I'm just gripping the handle in the leg vise using the side that we put in the hammer eye. And what I just want to do is take this fat bit out. So I'm just going to draw across. Okay, that's not good. Let's go this way. So if you find the wood's coming off and it's chipping and splitting and stuff, or it's leaving gouges, that's because you're pushing the spoke shave or the draw knife the wrong way. You're going against the grain as opposed to with the grain. Now the spoke shave is kind of like a plane. Just using this spoke shave like a plane, just to take the bulk of all this material out, like so. Now you don't have to do this, you can leave your shop bought hammer handles as they are. They do work just as well. It's just a personal preference, and it's something that I want to do as a part of I'm selling this item to customers, and I want it to look good, I want it to feel right, and I want it to work well. Anyway, you don't need to see all this, so I'll speed it up. There you have it. A nice even shape all the way down. It's nice and sanded off. Now that's only a 40 grit, I think 80 grit sandpaper. I'm just going to take a slightly finer sandpaper now and just run over that with slightly finer paper. And then we'll cut the eye. And I'm going to cut it diagonally. That gives me the best displacement of material whilst keeping a nice thick edges. I'll make the wedge, we'll soak it in the oil, and we'll do all that stuff next. Thank you for joining me. I'll leave a video up here for me making some hammers. I'll leave a video down here for me making some tongs. This is my Patreon and this is a subscribe button. Thanks for joining me, guys. See you later. Bye bye.